Hello and welcome one and all, I am Old School Gamer 1971, a special shout out to Millie and Lloyd. Hope you're all having a great day and are staying safe. Today's subject matter is Third Hour Thought, Cyberpunk 2077. Before we begin, if you enjoy the video, give it a big thumbs up, like, and if it pleases you, check out my channel and subscribe. So without further ado,
will not let that go. Got another blackout in Santo Domingo. Netrunners are at it again, poking holes in the power grid.
Cyberpunk 2077 is an open-world action-adventure RPG developed by CD Projekt Red and released for the PlayStation 4 in 2020. Cyberpunk 2077 is based on the Cyberpunk board game. Originally released in 1988, there has been 3 revised editions since, the latest of which is Cyberpunk Red, released in 2020. Using the Red Engine 4 engine, an updated Red Engine 3 engine that was used to make The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Work began on this game after the completion of the Blood and Wine DLC with a small team of just 50 people. This grew into a team that was larger than the team that developed The Witcher 3. But after so many delays, can this game live up to the hype? CD Projekt Red are a Polish developer based in Warsaw. Originally called CD Projekt, they were established in 1994, later on becoming CD Projekt Red in 2002. But it was not until 2007, with the release of the first Witcher game for PC, did they really come into the public eye. Before this, they were a distributor of foreign games into the Polish market. I have played Witcher on PC and The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt on PlayStation 4, and I am looking forward to the free update to The Witcher 3 for the PlayStation 5. You play as the character B, who is contracted along with Jackie Wells to steal an important device from the Arasaka Corporation, known as the Chip of Immortality. You were hired originally by fixer Dexter Deshawn. The duo infiltrate the Megacorp and steal the device, but the plan goes awry and Jackie dies as they escape. V is then betrayed by Dexter and left for dead in a landfill. The chip allows V to survive, albeit haunted by the digital ghost of iconic rocker boy Johnny Silverhand. The game is based in Night City, a city that seemingly never sleeps. And that is all I'm telling you right now. You do get to choose your background, but I feel that it doesn't really change a lot at the beginning nor going forward. I want you to experience the story for yourself, and that feels the right cut-off point. This is a game where you mould the character into the character you want them to be. There are so many choices for you to make. So is this Cyberpunk 2077, or is it Spiderpunk 1977, and I kept that clean for all of you. They have done a good job of mapping the game to the controller. It feels easier to use and responsive to your command. This should be a given, but you will be surprised how many numbnuts get this wrong. Looking at the driving controls on the Borderlands games right now, moving on to skills or tech as it is in this game, making you into some sort of cyborg. These are rather cool, and personally, I would be at the front of the queue if it was real. These are what improve your character and shape them into your chosen path. One of the many things I like about the game is the balance between gameplay and plot. Both are equally as important, and certainly the difference between main story and side quests you can barely notice. Combat is just great. First person shooter / melee, all the jiggery pokery and MacGuffin goes on in the background, number crunching. This is an accomplished game with so much promise of what is to come. Here is me hoping for a sizable DLC at the right price, kinda like the Blood and Wine DLC for The Witcher 3. Right off the bat, right from the character creation, you can see the ugly gits that are going to be the average citizen. This is fantastic to me. A future should just look like that, futuristic. And just as the city looks that way in this game, so does the characters. Looking at the characters here, I was looking at what they was wearing and wondering if I too could purchase a metallic mohawk. So next up, if we're going to be a AAA game, we nowadays need a crazy amount of detail. Here the game is outstanding. No, you cannot pick up nor interact with every single item, but boy do they all look so good. Whether it's on the shelf or on the floor, it all looks highly detailed. Again, nothing really new here, but at the same time it does look the part and definitely worthy of a mention. All this would be for naught if the world and the game's style did not have that cyberpunk aesthetic. Here it does, but it also is stylistically pleasing. It does feel and look like a living, breathing hive of villainy. Thank you for not suing me, Mr. Lucas. I have nothing and you can have 100% of that. In short, this game does look as shiny as it's supposed to be, so well done. Music wise, I am kind of glad that they went with the soundtrack they did. A nice mix of licensed music but not too popular so it is overplayed, and music that was written specifically for the game. This is all rather cool and certainly will make this one memorable soundtrack. As well, props to the person who decided what music went in, as it does fit rather well. Now let's start off with a thank you that he will never hear. This goes out to Keanu Reeves. Gaming is one of the biggest mediums and makes a hell of a lot of money. So come on actors like Keanu Reeves and Mads Mikkelsen, get in on the action. But like anything great, everyone has to play their part. And I do not just mean the main cast. Here everyone does that and the game is better for it. So let's talk about combat and more importantly how those guns and explosions sound. So I want my ears to bleed. I want the guns and explosions so loud that the gods sit up and saying, damn, what the hell was that? I want my pistol to sound like a hand cannon, a shotgun to sound like it could move a mountain, and a rocket launcher to burst my eardrums. This game doesn't disappoint. With headphones it sounds like all of those things. This is a fantastic game that's been polished to the nth degree. I like the story, character creation, and that it doesn't really feel like any other game out there. I felt that way throughout my time with the game, and yet for all of its greatness, I do not feel that it lived up to what I expected. After all of these delays, it could never live up to my expectations, and yet at the same time, I feel the game is great. It was just never going to be worth all of these delays. And yes, I will be going back to the game at some point. I know that my hours with the game, I will enjoy them all. This is a future platinum. The game is doable in around 28 hours. The story is anyway, but there is so much for you to sink your teeth into afterwards. Any fan of open world games or Cyberpunk as a style will get so much out of this game. On a personal note, I do think that this and Watch Dogs Legion have a lot in common, and that Watch Dogs is the easier game to get into. And dare I say it, a more fun game to play. So Cyberpunk 2077 this most certainly is, and earns itself a solid 8.4 out of 10. I'm off to be cyber enhanced. Oh yes I would. Just as I was about to post this video, along came a load of stuff about the game being bad and broken and it not being very good. And whilst yes, I will admit there's odd times where you get problems with like the textures and things like that, I've not had no like game breaking problems. Maybe it is because I'm running it on a PlayStation 5 as opposed to a PlayStation 4, which I should really have pointed out at the beginning of the review. But I will say I've seen none of this. None whatsoever. So for me, I stand by my review. And it's done. If you found this video interesting or have any suggestions, please comment down below, as we'll put a big old smile on this old face. Let's get the conversation started. I will answer you all. I post new content every week. Have a great day one and all, and thank you for your support. This has been Old School Gamer 1971, signing off.